Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about a new K-drama that is recently premiered on January 16, 2026, and its name is No Tale to Tell, as you have seen from the thumbnail and the video title of course. Its title has a literal meaning of "From now on, I am human." In this drama, we see a legend come to life, a Korean legend that we have seen before as viewers, because nine-tailed foxes in Korean literature and legends it is very well known, and we have seen these kinds of concepts before. But this one has a fresh MZ style fantasy rom-com. So our female lead, who is a Gumiho, nine-tailed fox, unlike the other dramas that we have seen involving this legend of a Gumiho, our female lead has zero desire to be a human. So you expect a Gumiho to yearn for being a human, but this one has a fresh concept, and our Gumiho do not want to become a human at all. She has zero desire. So we are gonna see how she ended up as a human, because as the title's literal meaning, it means "from now on I am a human." So there's a spoiler there. She was a Gumiho, but now she's a human. So today we are gonna talk about how she became a human and how this drama represents a fresh style of K-drama. Like I have seen in my recent video that the Korean drama world is changing and evolving in itself, and it is changing a lot of things. And this one, we do have a fresh style of legend telling from a K-drama for the first time. So let's start with our characters first. Our female lead is played by Kim Hye-yoon, and you might know her from Lovely Runner. It was my favorite for a reason. I love that drama. And this is a fantasy drama, a fantasy rom-com. And we talk about the genre itself, the fantasy genre. We think of one actress, and her name is Park Bo-young, of course. She as an actress and her visuals suits this kinds of drama so much, and it remind me of her a lot, because these kinds of fantasy series suits her a lot and I love her in them. My first ever K-drama that I watched was Abyss. So I was used to seeing her as the female lead in my fantasy dramas for so long, and from this kind of plot I was expecting to see her again, because everyone loves her with these kinds of roles, but to my surprise it was Kim Hye-yoon, and she does a really good job. We know why they chose her after we see her character in the drama, because her specialty in acting, I think, for my personal view, I think she plays spoiled roles so good. I think it suits her a lot, and it is believable. I do think actually she's a spoiled woman in her personal life, but when we see the behind the scenes, we of course see that that is not the case. She's a really humble and beautiful woman in her personal life, but she acts so much like a spoiled kind of character that we as viewers believe that she is like in her real life. But of course we cannot really know what's going on in her real life, because who are we? But I think she suits this kind of really good, and after seeing the K-drama we know why the director and the writer chose her. So that is one of the reasons. Her character is a Gumiho. Gumiho means nine-tailed fox. It is a very well-known Korean legend, and it has been a topic of K-dramas for like at least 10 years. We have seen these kinds of concepts a lot. There was a recent one, and the Gumiho was a male. And then this one, we see a female Gumiho again. But unlike the others, of course, they are changing little things by little in the K-drama world. We see the Gumiho as Kim Hye, and unlike the other series, the Gumiho does not have a desire to become a human, and she enjoys being a Gumiho in real life. Why would she throw it to the bin and be a human like a loser? Her mindset is like that because she has had a bad experience. In the first episode, we see there was a person in her life that they were so close. It was a female friend, but even though they have a lot of age gap in her appearance, of course they don't age. Gumihos don't age, so it is not visible from others' eyes. So if they were to call each other like grandma or something else, it will be weird. So our Gumiho, our female lead, Eunho, just called her Onni, older sister for female speakers. So they had a really close relationship until that Onni fell in love and married a human. And then the tragedy came along because they drifted apart, and that Onni, after a while, after our Eunho female leads tried to save her from something and told her Onni to, this is the blade that I have made. Like, I had someone carve out this knife for you, so you can go ahead and kill your husband with this kind of knife. So I'm waiting. You should go and kill your husband. I'm waiting outside. And her Onni is like, Eunho, I love my husband. I love my child. I'm not gonna kill him. And I just only have one wish. Because Gumiho are supposed to, like, you wish something from them and they make it come true. So that's their kind of thing. From the legend, we know that. And Uno is like, okay, Onni, tell me whatever it is, I will make it come true for you. Just tell me. And her Onni is like, okay, you have to promise me just one thing. You have to make it come true no matter what. And Eunho is like, okay, I will make it come true for you. And then Onni tells her that she doesn't wanna see her ever again in her life. So Eunho is like hurt by this, and then has a really bad experience. That's why she really doesn't want to become a human herself, because she knows what her older sister only had been through, the tragedies that she had been through. So she doesn't want to become one itself. And in our modern world, she doesn't think being a gumiho is a bad thing at all, because she earns some money from making people's wishes come true, and she is rich. She does whatever she wants. She is free. She is working, and she can take leave from work if she had earned enough for her life for like 1 year or 2 years. So she is living a free and a good life. Why would she just give up on that? So that's it for our Uno female lead, and let's talk about our male lead a little bit more. Our male lead is Kang Seo, and it is played by Lomon. You might know him from All of Us Are Dead, a famous one. It is a famous zombie drama. It was a short one, but it was a really popular one. I enjoyed it myself as well. I loved it. And after watching that one, I have searched for all of the zombie themed movies and dramas and watched all of them. So it was an enlightening topic for me. I loved it, that's why. And our male lead Kang Shior is, of course, if you have seen the trailer, he's a football player who's at first in the drama we see their interaction starting from his high school years. So let's just talk about that. They had an interaction in his years at high school, and then they meet up again after like 10 years have passed, and they live through some things, and our Gumiho turns into a human herself. Kang Shior, we see him later in life, a Premier League football player who lives a very strict life and forces his teammates to do the same. So he himself bans like mayonnaise, ketchup in like their meal times and a lot of things. They have to exercise every day. Him and his teammates. He lives a really strict life. So, but in his high school years, he was just like living his life. He doesn't have a mother or a father. As long as I watch, I don't know why they aren't alive yet. I just know that he has a grandma and his grandma is really old. She is trying to work, but what can she do? Like, at her age, it is really hard, and her health might be declining because of that job as well. And not Lomon, Kang Xior himself tries to pick up part-time jobs as like a delivery guy at night without his grandmother knowing, so he could help pay like his kind of things, like his football teams fees and his school related money things, so he doesn't be a burden for his grandmother at all. If it was up to him, he wouldn't even like his grandmother to be working, but she has to, because Kangshir himself doesn't earn a lot from just delivering packets at night time for like a few hours. So but he is trying his best, and there's one more friend that he's really close to, is a male friend. They're in the same team, and one day when they're playing as a team, like a match between themselves. By the way, I don't know anything about sports. I am trying my best. I personally don't really like dramas about sports at all because I don't understand them. If you are an athlete yourself, a sports person yourself, and love watching and enjoy watching these kinds of sports related themes in a drama, I would recommend this for you 100%. But I didn't know anything about football. I don't really know anything about sports, but I tried my best to like to understand and then to tell it to you guys as my viewers. So the first thing is, I think they're having a match and there's one person who is a foreigner and they're watching the football players, Kang Xior's teams, how they play and how their performance is in a gameplay. But they were there to see Xior's friends, the male friend that I said that they were close to. Let's call him, I don't remember his name. I don't I don't remember his name. Let's call him just best friend, okay? Stay with me. he's gonna be relevant, but stay with me for a second. So there too, the foreigner himself, I think it is a football professional that knows about these kinds of things, and he has an interpreter by his side, like the translator between the coach and him to translate everything because he's a foreigner. And they're looking at Shio's best friend, how he plays, and if his performance is good, he's gonna go to the national team. But while they were playing, the coach told them to like bring the shine to Shio's best friend because it's his time to shine, and his performance matters a lot for them. So they're saying that the coach is saying like, make him shine, throw the ball to him. So let him do whatever he wants. Just be passive players for this one because someone is watching how he plays, like observing his performance. So don't do anything out of ordinary and don't try to take his shine away from him because it's his time. Kang Xiu's best friend's time. But Kang Xiu, I don't know if he doesn't know, or I personally think he was just trying his best at every single game he plays. So, and being a better player than his best friend, he's of course like shining while they are playing the game. His performance is a lot better than his best friend, and he's doing like some kind of ball tricks, and of course the shine is on him. And the coach later is unhappy with this because he has especially told them to not do anything and not to steal his best friend's shine. But Kang Xiu is like, I always try my best at games. I never fake any games. Why would I try to make him shine? If I'm better, they should see me as well. Like, it should be fair. And it was, I think it was kind of his mindset as a sports player, a sportsman. So I loved it as well because he's always trying to be his best. He doesn't care what anyone else thinks. But of course, they're a little bit of like friends, so it might have been rude to his best friend. But it didn't matter much at the end because nothing happened at all. Even though Kang Xiu had outdid himself with his performance, nothing happened, and his best friend still had time to shine after that because he was chosen to be the one to go to the national team and he was gonna rise from there in his career. So after they are told that and they go shopping to a place with Kang Xiu and his best friend that is a football player, and they're in a shopping mall together. And in the meantime, our Gumiho, Eunho, is there as well because after having a wish come true in exchange of some money in our modern world, she has gained money and she's just like spending all her money because like why not, she had earned a lot because she's working with rich persons to make their wishes come true, so they're paying her a lot. Like, think about it, like she doesn't have to work for 2 years or 3 years. She gains a lot from these kinds of works. So she's out shopping and she had made a friend with hypnotizing a girl that she saw and liked her style. So she was just like, come be my friend for the day. Let's shop together. And they were out shopping, and then they, our Gumiho, Eunho, bumped into Kang Xiu, and Kang Xiu just flew away from her because she's a Gumiho and she's so strong. She is powerful. So Kang Xiu just flew away from her and was like, what's happening? What's happening? And while Kang Xiu was on the floor because he was like on the floor because Eunho was really powerful, his best friend came to him and is like, what's happened? What's happening? And Gumiho is like, Are you okay? You bumped into me. I think you might be hurt. Check if you have any bones cracked or something. And she was like, I'm okay. I'm like, are you okay? I think I bumped into you. Are you fine? And Anna is like, yeah, I'm fine. So after their bumps, they get up and they see eye to eye right now. And they're just looking at each other, like apologizing to each other because they bumped into each other. And Eunho saw something in his best friend's eyes. She has a superpower. When she looks at some people's eyes, she's able to see their future in some kinds of scenes. So it is not even longer than a 15 seconds, but it is a trailer of their life. And after looking at Shior's best friend's eyes, she sees a lot of fame of being a football player. And she's like, okay, that person is gonna be famous in some years. She tells her to the girl that she met earlier that day as well. And they just apologize to each other and they apart ways, but Eunho is like, okay, that is gonna be a famous person because whenever I see something, it always happens. I have never been wrong in my life, and she has been alive for some years, for some centuries, so I think she has some relevance to her guesses and thoughts and her sights of people's futures. So after this interaction, and I am saying that it is in his Kang Xior's high school years, this is happening back then. So after this happens, they have an interaction once again, and that interaction is still in Kang Xior's high school years. It is really early. I think it is like 2015 or 2016. So you know that it is like 10 years ago or something. When Kang Xiu and that best friend was playing football in some school's front yard, their ball flew away and it landed on Eunho's head. And Eunho is really annoyed because what kind of luck is that? And she was really far away from the school as well, so she's like, who threw that? Who did that to me? And while she's like shocked and waiting for someone to come pick up the ball, she's just sitting on the bench and Kang Xiu comes to pick that ball up and she is like, that's you. I have met you. And Kang Xiu is like, do you know me? And then he realizes that it is the woman that they have bumped into each other like the other day. And he's like, oh, you're that woman. And she's like, yeah, I'm that woman. You are looking for this, right? She holds the ball on her hand. Ano is so powerful. And when she throws it to the ground, it just pops. And Kang Xiu is like shocked and is like, what's happening? These balls are supposed to be so powerful and just... What's happening? How did you do that? And well, he's just being shocked. Ano is really annoyed, so she's just taking some jabs at him for throwing the ball at her head. So she's like, you are playing football, but that is for nothing. Because you know why? You're gonna be nothing in your future. But your friend, your best friend at the mall the other day that I saw, he's gonna be really famous and he's gonna get a lot of money from being a football player in his life in the future. And Kang Xiu is like, how do you know that? How do you know that? And I was like, whenever I see something, it happens. I have never been wrong in my life. So I saw that happen, so it's gonna happen. Just trust me. And Kang Xiu is like so confused and doesn't really know what's going on. And the ball is popped now, so he can't do anything about it as well. And while they are waiting, there's a screech sound coming from the main street. I bet you couldn't have guessed what was next. because that screech sound was Eunho's earlier client that she had gained money from. So I have told you Eunho had rich clients, right? That is the man that she worked for. She made his wish come true, and he is like a really higher up at a company, and he's like a chaebol, and he wanted to win a vote selection, so he was working with Eunho, and then after celebrating, he got drunk, and he was drunk driving. And from here, I'm just gonna tell drunk driving is really dangerous and not legal at all. Please don't do it. This is not like an example of anything. I'm just telling you what happened on the drama, okay? So he was driving his car drunk, and while he was driving, of course it is dangerous, and of course it shouldn't happen, and it is one of the biggest crimes. While he was driving in that kind of state, he had crashed his car into someone, a person. Can you guess who that was? It was Kang Shio's best friend, who was supposed to be a famous football player, and he was just laying there on the concrete and like, we are thinking, is he gonna be dead? What is happening? And after Kang Shio runs up to the main street and sees his best friend on the road, in the middle of the road, he's like, what's happening? And Kang Shio himself saw who the drunk driver was and who was driving that car as well. So he's a witness. But after shouting at the drunk driver to stop, where are you going? Of course, he flees the scenes because he's a coward and not a responsible person. We know he's not a responsible person because he was driving his car drunk. So we know he's not a responsible person. He's a bad person, and he should be in jail. But he's a witness in this case. So he runs up to the best friend on the road and he's like, call 911. So they call 911. In the hospital, they learn that his career is probably gonna be over as a football player. Like, even if he like gains his health back, it's gonna be hard. It is gonna be hard. And Kang Shio is like, was confused earlier when he was talking to Eunho because she said that he was gonna be a famous player. And Eunho, after hearing that her earlier client has been in some accident and she's coming to see what had happened to Kang Shio's best friend, and there she's shocked to see Kang Shio again because it was his best friend that was crashed by the car. And she's like, you are here again? But when she comes in from the door in the hospital room, she looks at Kang Shio's eyes and like, she sees the same thing that she saw the other day at his best friend's eyes. The future scenes, the famous football player scenes that is playing in her head, she's just seeing them in Kang Shio's eyes. It's like, I made them switch fates, and this is a really bad deed. So she's not feeling well after realizing what she did, and she's really not herself, and she just loses consciousness like that on Kang Shio's arms. And if you are curious about what happened next, you should go and check this drama out. And if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.